What's going on, guys? Strats Punisher here again, and we are back with another Viper guide video. This time we're doing the map Icebox. I decided to do this map instead because I've been seeing when she is chosen in pro play, it's always been on this map. I'm not in any position to judge pro players at all, but some of the things that I've seen them do just don't really make a lot of sense to me versus the things that I use on this map. So we're gonna go through all of that versus like I said, I don't have any one ways on this map yet, but I do have throw-in orb spots to take over sites, good wall strats, and then of course the molly lineups. This is gonna be a lot shorter of a video compared to what Haven was. Haven, I basically almost have double of the lineups on that map. But if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and hit that notification bell to see more videos. I still have 3 more maps to do after this as well. So yeah. Alright, so first thing first, when attacking A, everyone's pretty much go-to on this site. Not a lot of people like attacking B that often unless it's for like a rotate attack. But for the good wall is pretty much a wall they want to line up with basically the corner of their side nest and the corner of sign, and line it up with the stairs. So when you fire this wall, it's going to block this complete angle. This is still going to be open, so no one's going to be hiding behind any other wall. They can't see you from here, and you almost get like a little bit of like a one-way right here, so you can still see people before they see you. But that wall is pretty much elite for this site. Alright, so when you're also attacking A, to combine very well with the wall to block off even more lines of sight, you can even use your orb to throw in. This spot I learned for Unidaro, just taking it out there and just throwing it in this video as well. But if you aim from the corner of this slanted like wall to this first intersection, right before this light, right in the middle. It's a lot to like really process. But all you do is just left click. It lands on top of this box, and now combining with the wall, you're taking around a lot of sight away from here, and they have to wide swing from back sight to really see if anyone's pushing. So another throw-in orb that you can do is from back spawn from the same other 2 molly spots. Same thing, get in between the panel, and in between these 2 arrows, you're just going to aim slightly left of the nest of this wall, just directly in between the arrows, and you're just gonna jump and left click. Pretty simple. It lands right on this corner, so even if teammates plant on the zipline or default, the orb is going to cover it, and then you can have fun with your lineups. Alright, so now for the fun part of the molly lineups. For post plant, there's about 5 at this site, and 1 kind of combines with like a retake molly and a post plant, depending on the situation that you're put into. So the first one combines very well with the throw-in orb, so you can basically just stay back and help your team watch flank. What you do, same line that you threw the orb in from, and you want to look up where this zip line's at, completely diagonal to this intersection right before this light. So completely to this intersection right here. All you do is just fire it at that, and it bounces off the ceiling and lands directly on default. Okay, so 2 different molly lineups from this back corner and this doorway near the spawn. This is if you're, again, really if you want to watch flank. I do a lot of that with Viper. But this one is going to be a spot for underneath Zipline, and then to save the spot for regular default. So for the Zipline one, it's really simple. You get in the middle of this beam, and then you want to aim right at the corner of this rectangle in the ceiling with your crosshair, and you just left click. It'll bounce off the wall, and it'll hit on the zip line. That's if you plan directly for zip line. Now, most of your teammates, for some reason, they always plant default. Obviously, because it's safest, they don't have to worry about backside as much, and they have more protection from teammates. They're always going to plant default. So, same spot, but it's just a little bit of more of adjustment. This line right here is what you're going to aim at with the center of your crosshair. just directly in the middle, and you're just going to fire. It's going to bounce off the vent, and then it's going to hit default. And another lineup, if you do push up with your team more further up, obviously if you want to play on pipes, there's a lineup for here as well. So this one's a little bit more like hard to see, but if you have max settings on, there's like smoke and stuff in the background. But what you want to do is basically take this zip line and follow it almost, and kind of like imagine like you're on the zip line still, but then come down to this black line, and you're just gonna left click with the molly, and it just bounces off and hits default. I don't really like doing this spot as much because when I get in like the tight situations, I kind of get nervous and I kind of fuck up these jumps to get here, and then I just look like a clown to the rest of the team. So I just stick to the further back mollies, or even this one right here. Alright, so the last one that I know off the top of my head, like I said, I haven't really created a lot of lineups for this map yet. But for whatever situation, if this could be used on defense, or this could be used if you're like in a 1v1 situation and you know they're in your spawn, you can still plant on default, and what you do is get right next to this lamp, and basically, let me switch it up. This little like rock, whatever you want to call it, depending on what settings you have, you can basically aim at the corner of like where the stairs and wall meets and just kind of like throw it in this general area. But all you do is just aim your crosshair there and you just fire your molly, bounces off the wall and hits default. So while they're trying to clear sight, trying to figure out where you went, they're going to have to tap the bomb, and it's basically almost a guaranteed round win. Alright, this part is kind of important. This is kind of the part that I kind of get upset by. The wall that you use to attack on B works exactly how you would smoke it with an omen, a brim, whatever. But you want to be careful how you throw the wall. So in the middle of B, you know there's 2 levels, right? What you want to do with the wall is you want to have it lower so it blocks everything low. Because if you have it too high, the wall is going to cover the top floor and not the bottom floor. So if I did something like this and I activated my wall, it leaves this huge opening for enemies to now come through, right? And if you're the only smoker for the team, you might not be playing for post-plant mollies, right? So yeah, you could throw your orb there, but I'd rather just have the wall go completely there. So if no one is playing up top, you can play for post plants with your orb by throwing on default. Alright, so what I like to do instead of doing the first action, even though you can throw your orb at the bottom part, it's just you're gonna expose yourself trying to get to that unless you just come out of here and just wing it here. But I mean, it's up to you. If you want to cover the top, you can. But if you want to cover the bottom, you just want to throw it lower. But also on the minimap, you want to line up with that circle on this back where the crane sits. You want it to cut directly through here. And I just throw it on the lower end of it, so that it is indeed covering all of this. And then I can throw my orb from back yellow and just do something as simple as this. So when it lands up there, wait for the fuel to recharge. Once it lands up there, now no one can peek here. And if they do peek over here, I mean, they have to go through the orb, and they're taking 15 damage per second. And a teammate's probably already swinging out here anyway, and they're kind of just putting themselves in a bad position. Alright, for B site, everyone is always planning up against this box. Generally, they try to plan as close as to orange crate as possible, so they don't really get wall banged through sage walls, whatever. So the lineup that I have for this, you come back to this corner with the steel beams, tuck yourself in here, Now, with the bottom of your HUD line, the bottom right HUD line at the very end, there's a white dot on the green crate right here, right above the black and yellow bar, basically. You're going to line up that right HUD line with that dot, either on the dot, above it, doesn't really matter. And you're just going to fire. It's going to bounce off this crate, and it's going to land on default. Alright, so this is a bit of an oddball way of doing it. This is if you're lurking through A, enemies are weak, or somehow you just managed to get out of B main and come here. You're gonna get into this corner, and how this snow on the wall curves. You're gonna take your right HUD line and the left tip of it, not the right end, but the tip that's closest to your ultimate, and you're just gonna line up with the edge of it, and you're just gonna fire. And that also lands on default. This is again another interesting spot. This one you could probably use if you plant on default, because this is where it's going to land. If you just somehow manage to take up the zip and maybe walk through kitchen and you hear someone like coming through snowman and a 1v1, 1v2. Sorry for the voice crack. But you just tuck yourself in this corner, and on this crane where this line comes through and makes this triangle, you're going to put your bottom right of your HUD line, your right HUD line, into this corner. So definitely take your time to practice this. It doesn't really have to be pixel perfect. So you just fire it, and then this is just going to land on top of default. Alright, so another lineup. I've seen teams that late decide to rotate to B if A is not working or whatever, and they come through mid, but they want to make sure they get the plant down, and maybe they want to guard it from back here, or guard it somehow from mid, whatever. They'll plant it out in the open, like right here. So a lineup for that is if you're creeping around here, you want to tuck into this corner. Before you tuck down, this like beam is what you're bouncing off your molly, and you want to like tuck in and make sure you're like really tucked. See how the difference is that I'm from this position and I tuck all the way in the corner and it puts me down even more? You want to make sure you're in line with this, and you just tuck in and you aim at the tip of this square. So then it just bounces off of that and just lands on it. So if you are going mid or they're opping, and you want to cut off as many angles as possible, if you are a solo smoker, you can use your orb to throw an orb at boiler, where most oppers do like to sit either there, which is his boiler. They'll sit rafters, sign, back yellow, back snowman, even if they're really passive, but that's not the point. You want to get in the middle of this bottom of the ramp. Doesn't have to be precise. And at this part of the diamond in the K, right above this little black spot, you're going to put the left HUD for the left click diamond right up next to it onto the line. And you're just going to jump and left click. So that lands right on boiler. Depending on how you jump, obviously it can land further back or up close. It just depends on how you throw it. There's like a perfect like little touch to the jump, but it does cover the entire thing, so they do not have an angle nor information. But you also pair that with your wall if you think someone's going to be in the actual lower part of mid boiler. Alright, so if your team is pushing through mid, whether your team is going under tube, and that hopes your team has good comms to see where everyone's going, or if you guys are going through tube, you want to go like mid to B type style thing, you do two separate walls, slightly different. If you're going through tube, you want to throw the wall lower so that it's not blocking inside a tube. So then if obviously you're not walking them blind, you know what I mean? If you guys are going under tube, you want to throw it higher so that it actually cuts off B hall if there is anyone back here, or if like a teammate comes through, takes a zip, comes up here. You can basically catch any like rotates through kitchen If the wall is up, they're coming through blind, you're already looking at it. It actually helps to cut off that part as well. But this is blocking in tube, so it also can remove information from the guy in kitchen if they're staring down tube, other than seeing the wall up. So whichever one you do just depends on where you guys are going. Alright, so now we are on defense. Like I said, I don't know a lot of things on this map yet. I am learning as we go. And once Viper gets buffed, I will almost 99% have a click rate of selecting Viper. But yeah, we're going to go over a couple things. I only have one lackluster one way. I say lackluster because I don't really like using it that much. I don't really think it helps a lot. I just saved my orb for a retake on A because I do play on B, and you will see why here shortly. Alright, so there is no like perfect legitimate way to defend with anything like crazy like on Haven with retake mollies, one ways, or anything like that. I've already showed you guys the retake molly for this site. That's if you're playing A as Viper. It is hard to hold this site down, but what a lot of people don't do as Viper is do the most simplest wall possible. When they plant, when the enemy's planting, they have from this corner all along this edge right here. So if they're gonna plant the bomb, you want to obviously smoke off lines of sight of them protecting it other than spamming you, correct? So as an Omen player, someone might smoke here, here, back here, whatever. There's just so many angles to smoke off, or even like some will just smoke off in front of here. But if you just come here in the buy phase, the wall is like right up against you, so you can still get in this corner, and you just want to aim high. This wall cuts off so much. It slows pushes. If the enemy is defending, they can't see from here, they can't see from here, they can barely see from there if you're crossing. Down here they can't see, they're up here they can't see. They would have to rely on pings and predicting what side of the bomb you're on if they're planning out in the open right here. The wall is just so simple that it works enough for retakes. I only use this wall if the team is struggling the whole day and we're getting literally no action at B. Also, benefit of this wall is that it blocks off kitchen, the tube a little bit. That's if, I don't know, someone's over here protecting them. They do come through tube if we don't have a sage. The downfall of this wall is you lose mid control unless a teammate is in this portion, and still they're not going to be able to see anything unless they're getting information from bottom tube or whatever. That's the only downfall, so be wary if you have a teammate here and it's not committed to A, don't put up the wall to block up their information if they're opping, head peeking it, whatever it may be. Alright, on B, which is where I like to play the most as Viper, mainly because a lot of teams we can just, you know, put one or two mid, one or two or three on A, whatever, however you want to put the other four players at. You basically put a Viper on B by herself. I like explaining the walls more thoroughly because I feel like a lot of people are only using the walls to like half-second slow teams, and it's not enough. You want to think, if you're going to put down a wall, make it count, right? So what I do for when I'm on B in the pre-round is I will line up the wall with this corner for B main and anywhere down here, which is fine because unless, you know, you have someone peeking it up, they're going to fall back anyway. No one's really holding this forever because there's the upper angle here, the lower angle, this angle. So many angles that the full team can push one solo person. You're falling back anyway, right? So you throw this wall. Just this front half of the wall is what matters the most, because where do enemies play when they're defending the bomb, right? B main, up here, here, and back yellow, right? So if obviously you throw up this wall, if they're pushing you, you can throw up this wall and fall back. They're obviously going to smoke here, maybe smoke up top if they have Omen or Brim, but this is going to slow them down legitimately. And if you just molly either side, So when they're trying to push through, they're taking damage. They're double damage for any teammates that are pushing up on the bridge, upper here, through mid tube, whatever it may be. It slows them down. But that's if they're coming to push. But now if you fall back and they push through anyway, get the bomb down because they know it's only like one person probably, depending on what information they have. Now if you look at it from their perspective, after the bomb has been planted, they don't have the people behind yellow and stuff don't have information. B main don't have information. The only information they can get is possibly up here if they're looking back snowman. But what bites them in the ass is when they're back there, their teammates smoking here, right? So with this wall up, the only information this person is getting up here is if anyone pushes through the smoke like over here or like from under the tube or something like that. That's the only information they can get. There's nothing else for them. The wall blocks too much. That's why I like using Viper's walls on this map, because it just takes away so many angles which this map has, which people don't like, and it just helps for retakes. Her walls are good for retakes, and they're the best for retakes. It's just simple like that. Sorry for the long explanation, but these walls, I've seen just other walls, like other Vipers put up a wall covering this, and it's just like, that's not going to stop them. You know what I mean? That's not going to prevent anything. If they plant B, what's this wall doing? It's not going to help you. It's a wasted utility. Even if you come all the way over here, I've seen people put a diagonal wall, and actually a pro player put a diagonal wall trying to cut off as much stuff here, like pipes, nest, belt, but you still have this angle, this peak angle, possibly this angle, depending on how deep the cut is for that wall, to all look at this. And you even have, you know, close L. You know what I mean? The wall that I showed earlier cuts off all that. They have to push up or spray you through the wall. You can make so many more big plays on that. You can tap and fake. You can have someone stick. Even if you have your orb left, combining it with the wall, throwing it on. It's just, there's so many things you can do with the wall that's so simple as blocking off the entire site and all those angles. Alright, so a couple other things. I'm going to show you the one way, which is for right here. Can be paired with this wall if you would like to throw it. But also remember, if for whatever reason you're playing mid as Viper, or if you're playing A and they're rotating over here, don't forget about the oddball spots for the molly here and the molly inside B. If you are rotating from A, want to go to, you have these mollies to hit default and slow their plant. Given maybe they're late rotating, there's 15 seconds left. That could be a huge inconvenience to that person and may even get you a kill if they're low enough. Anyway, so for the one way that I know for this map, I haven't figured out anything else yet. You want to get in line with these two crates at the bottom here, and when you pull out your orb, I left my orb at A. Hold on. And we're back. I keep forgetting my orb and stuff like that all over the place. But anyway, so for this one way, which again I think is tedious, really only helps for split second. You got to think how you're going to view this one way and how fast the teams are pushing. I just don't think it's all that great. But you come in between these two crates right here, and with your crosshair, this like crane thing has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. You're going to put it on the third line on top of the crate. And all you're going to do is jump and right click. It's going to land on this little lip right here. Just a little connection right there. And it gives you this one way that you like can utilize from back here, maybe for like a split second, get a pick before smoke falls. It's just with this orb that's only covering from here and out, right? Could be good for the one-way aspect, but after the one-way aspect, I think it might just be good for blocking this guy, actually. So think about it. The information that I had before, I guess you could use the orb for this if you wanted to throw it here. Now they really have no information with you there at all. They have to push. So I take back what I said. I'm going to start using this more now that I know it. Well, I already knew it, just showing it to you guys. I'm actually going to use it more, but I'm not going to use it for the one-way ability unless I'm sitting back here and you can see like toes. You know what I mean? And they have to push around this corner. So I guess it's pretty solid. I just don't really use it that often because I save it for like A. But I think this might improve me as a Viper player now that I actually tested it out. And you can jump up and grab it. I don't know why I was in ghost mode. Alright, so I know I said this video was probably going to be much shorter than Haven and stuff like that, but I'm kind of like more explaining everything on this and rambling on. I'll make sure the timestamps are like more directly towards the actual thing I'm trying to show you guys. But if you're playing Viper on B, I do this in the early rounds because some people have armor, some people don't. It's just a nice slow thing down. If I'm not throwing it up here, because I know they're probably not going to play far back, but I'll probably start throwing it here still. But for something that's kind of like weird is what you can do is just throw this orb somewhere like here that they can't really see it. And if you're sitting in kitchen, where I like to sit, because I like to play for more information unless I'm playing aggro on B main, you can just sit back here and kind of just like wing a molly off this crate. So it bounces off the like nest area and it hits on default. So this is where everyone's usually planting. And if you put the orb up first, right, and you let it start draining health, because they're going to come in here and probably still plant, or if not plant here. They might think you're only like trying to block lines of sight. You shoot a molly, you are going to probably do a lot of damage, if not almost kill them, and try to make them replant, which by then teammates are rotating because you know they're over here trying to plant. Alright, so I do these videos based off of everything off the top of my head that I know. I sat here thinking, and I really can't think of anything else. I could always create more stuff in the future, so if you would like to see more on Icebox, let me know, and I could take the time to maybe learn some pretty wild stuff, I guess. I don't know. I try to base this off of like situational things, not really situational things, but things that I experience the most in game. So some things I'll create in game, like this little default molly I created in game. It's not anything insane, it's just bouncing off of objects and stuff like that. But hopefully this helps you guys understand Viper more on this map. This is just for walls, any one-ways, and molly lineups. I might do in the future best positions really to ult. I experienced a lot of different situations through trial and error with this character. Like ulting like straight up B main, I've done a couple of times and really pushed them away. Ulting over here, depending on the agents the other team has, you're most likely to get just sprayed through here, the box. It's not as good as you think it is. Same thing on A, but I can go through an ultimate guy, like an actual like ultimate guide, not like whatever I titled the other video as. Anyway, I'm done rambling on. If this video helps you in any way, let me know in the comments your favorite thing about this video. If you do come back to this video, if you've done anything in game, let me know how it went for you. And then of course, hopefully you leave a like, drop a sub, and turn on that bell for new videos. And we will do the other 3 maps as well. So Haven is Bind is probably the next one, which is just as crazy as Haven was. So thank you for watching, and hope you guys have a good day, and see you in the next video.